Okay, here we go. Hi, everybody. I- I'm here with Deb and Hunter, and I'm Lisa McCallum. I'm an author and a speaker and a divorce coach. And yes, I created my business talking about divorce, but I am here today to talk to you and interview this fabulous couple here because they've been married for a little while. They just told me that many years ago they did a fun newlywed game, and everybody said to them, "You guys are the funniest couple that we've ever met." So I want them to share a little bit more about this with you. And I feel it's really important that we need people out there like you two to share and be open about things in your marriage that work for you, because in this society we need to know the stuff that's working, and it will help us. And that's what I'm all about, is for people to work on their marriages. For sure, obviously there are certain things, if it's not gonna happen, well, I know there's divorce, but that's not the road to take right away. You got to work on things, and that's why I'm talking to this couple, for them to share some cool things about their own marriage. And yeah, so Deb and Hunter, if you want to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about what you do and how long you've been married, and then I'll ask you some more questions.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Lisa, for asking us to do this interview. We really appreciate it. And people that we get interviewed by, I mean, we've been through a few interviews, and we've been on stage, a couple retreats, and we've, like you talked about earlier, this newlywed game. We're contacted or connected with this real estate club. We're a member of the real estate club. And they had this fun thing going on one night, one Saturday night or Friday night, I can't remember. It's been a long time ago, probably 20 years ago. And they said, "Hey, would you guys like to be in the newlywed game? Because you're married." And so it was all different aspects of marriages there, not just newlyweds, but the people have been married for a time and a short time. But anyway, we won the newlywed game because we knew more about each other than the other couples did, unfortunately. And we were really funny about it because we shared a lot of stuff that in those questions we looked at each other and we learned from that. So we've been in the real estate business. We've been in the real estate business since 1996. Actually, the reason we're in this business as deep as we're in it is because of her. I was working with my father for 20 years before I met Deb. I met Deb back in 1994, 93, 94, back in that era. And we met. It's unique how we met, actually. Debbie was still married. I was single, but
Okay.
I was actually, to replay it, I was actually going to her store. She had a consignment store, mothers to be, kiddie consignment plus men's. So she had some men's clothing, but I had a daughter that was young, that I was not living with her mother at the time because I was not married before, but I was in a long relationship before. And we had a child together, which is my daughter, who is 31, 32 now.
Mm-hmm.
But I would go to this store because I heard about the store through Debbie's sister, who was in recovery, and I was in recovery at the time. And so I would go there and buy these clothes and all that. Well, later on, after, Debbie, like she said, she was married at the time. I was single, sort of, whatever. And, supplying clothes for my daughter. But that's kind of how we met, and in the beginning. So there's a lot more of the story. I mean, if you want to ask this question, but I mean, that's the introduction to our relationship. And just to let you know, the first date we went on was 3 days long. I took my two children at the time, were very young, and we both came back from that date, and I said I would never go out with that bitch again, just the way I simply put it. She didn't allow any smoking, no cussing, no farting, no nothing, so it's like, wow, this lady's no fun, And
I was just different from what he was used to. Though.
yeah,
Okay.
she was a little different than the other ladies I was dating per se. I don't know. Not that all those things went on, but it was just kind of unique or strange to me that she would just come out and say that on the ride up there, not before there.
I don't remember that.
And I remember it.
Uh,
So we did have a good time. We had a good experience. But, you know, I was living with 4 guys at the time in my house. It was one of my first houses or second house I bought. And I told the guys, I said, yeah, they go, how'd it go? And I said, well, I'll never go out with that girl again, ever, you know. So here we are, you know.
And I was saying the same thing about him. I went, oh my God, that's horrible.
Yeah. I took her to I took her to a dump, you know, it was on a river. It was a beautiful place, but it was just the
Outside the house.
yeah, outside this camp. It was a camp. So she wasn't used to spiders and old campsites. She's used to, you know, plush, yeah, and dirt, you know, and killing pigs and eating them and all that. She didn't do any of that. So I taught her that or brought her into that world. And she said, oh my God, what did I get into? And I said, oh my God, what did I get into? And so, you know, that's where it started. You know, it's pretty interesting.
But the next weekend, he needed a date for a wedding, and he called me because, and
I was desperate.
yeah.
and again, we go off for 3 days.
Our second date was 3 days to North Carolina. Hey, I took her to a nice cabin though. This is different.
This one was, yeah.
Okay.
In North Carolina, it was a beautiful cabin in North Carolina. That
after that, it was okay.
So, but she got a little mad at me on that day too.
Yep.
Yeah. So there was a little stuff going on. But
you didn't tell him how you got in the business.
oh yeah. So
Yeah.
the business. Yeah. So the business. I was working with my father 20 years in a automotive sales business, a route business here in the state of Florida, in some South Georgia. When I met Deb, she came to my shop. It was a warehouse basically, and this job that I had, I would have to make what I sold, so I'd be dirty, nasty, grimy, and all that. And I was working on my first real estate deal at that time.
Okay.
And when she found out what I was doing, and you know, when we met, you know, we were dating, and she goes, "You're better than this. You need to be doing something different." And I said, well, you know, I'm doing a little bit of real estate. And then I cashed my first check for $43,000 on my first deal. She goes, you really need to be looking into something different than what you're doing, because I was only making $19,000 a year working for my dad.
Yeah.
So big difference. I made $43,000 on my first transaction, and I'd work all year to make 19, and whatever side jobs I did along the way to keep going, because it was a family business, and you know, it was my dad's dream, not my dream. And my dream was real estate, and I'd already had bought a piece of property, or had bought a property with my first, not wife, but person with buried my child. But so I knew the process, and that was, you know, something I wanted to do. And she said, you need to do this. So, you know, with her little push over the edge, I gave my dad a 2 months notice, basically saying, hey, I'm going to be doing real estate full time. I just cashed a check for $43,000. And from there, you know, that we never turned back. We never looked back. So we've still been in the business. Or she had her own businesses. She had 2 stores, actually, consignment. So Debbie had her own business and her own life, and her own brand per se.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was searching for mine. Mine was my father's brand, his ideas, you know, his dream. And so when I met Debbie, there was a whole mind shift of what I could do, because I didn't feel that I could do it. And somebody comes and tells you can do it, it's a different story, you know. And you know, it started from there. So it just built up.
She saw something in you, and you were, you could say, aware enough to look at that within yourself.
I think the check helped.
You know, both of us are hard workers. I mean, both of us work hard. We've been working in the business that she told me I should get into. She finally had to sell her stuff, because the real estate business that I, you know, was, I mean, I was already buying, I already had the knowledge, some of the knowledge and skills and stuff, and been doing trainings and coaching and all that with others. And so I think that when I saw the opportunity, and I knew the business that I had been working in for 20 years, I was with my father 20 years, was a dying breed. I said, you know, I can do better than this, and I want to do better than this. And I've always wanted to, you know, we always want to do better, you know, hopefully, you know, if you don't, then you need to get your mindset checked. But, you know, mindset's a big thing. And business, relationships, you know, anything, you know, that goes on is all what's between these two ears up here.
So is your real estate business together or still yours?
Oh, no.
No. So when I created the business, how I created the business, the company, the reason I did the name and all that was HP Investment Group, Inc., was I created a C corporation because every time I would close a deal, this is before Deb and I were married, but we were together. But every time I would do a deal and I'd share it with my kids, the kids would go back and tell the mom, and then the mom would come back and take me to court and get 50% of my deal. So I said, this crap's got to quit. So I created a C corporation. I mean, I was already paying child support. I was already giving to my daughter, paying everything. I mean, I did way more than any man would probably, not any man, but most men would probably do, knowing that the money you're giving your ex isn't going to your child, it's going to her lifestyle. And when my daughter would come see us, Debbie, luckily I could buy discounted clothes at her consignment store, right? So that worked out. And so when I created the business, Debbie wasn't in the business with me at the time, but she saw the expansion of the business and felt, you know, I was working a lot more hours, you know, work all day and then come home and do the books at night. And she goes, man, you can't keep doing this. You're going to kill yourself.
Yeah.
So she stepped up and stepped in, and now she does all the books. She has all the money. Now I have no money. She has all the money.
Well, you made it, honey. Yeah.
But she was the guiding light. Basically is the real reason that we're here today is from that. Suggested, hey, you need to do better than what you're doing with your father, your family, and all that. And then it just gets better from there. It's just amazing. So.
But you listen.
We've been working in the business together now for 25 years, just like this, side by side.
And do you still have your own businesses as well, Debbie?
No, I sold those so I could help him.
Okay. So you're in this partnership together.
Right.
With your man.
We're together 24/7.
We don't recommend that for everybody. Yeah, we don't recommend that for everybody.
Why not?
When they get in the business, we tell couples that is like, you better have a strong marriage if you think you guys are going to work together.
Yeah.
And we're honest with them. It's like, you know, it's a whole different thing when you come to work and when you leave work. And you have to be able to separate that. So it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
But it's good.
No.
Yeah, you have to know your place, you know, or not your place. I mean, you just have to figure out.
Part of the business.
Yeah. You know, Debbie doesn't like doing part of the business that we do. It's negotiating short sales. Although she created this fund back here, FUN is called foreclosures under negotiation.
Okay.
So she created that acronym and that for our marketing. So she did a lot of marketing for the company.
Yeah.
In that aspect, you know, and watching the pennies, you know, because back then, you know, we didn't have a whole lot of money, but $43,000 will change somebody's life.
Yeah.
You know,
bet.
especially if you're making $19,000 a year. The average income of Americans now, you know, a little bit less than that. So that's what started the whole I don't know, collusion or
Well, one of the things that attracted me to Hunter was I saw what a great father he was. And that was a big attraction because I grew up with a mom that was very devoted to her children. And my mom was also in real estate, and she worked 2 other jobs too and raised 4 kids. and I could see how strong he was. I guess I married my mother, is what we say. And
got short hair though.
And I was a hard worker, and I couldn't, I couldn't really tolerate lazy people. I can tolerate them, but I'm not going to marry them. And so,
right.
He had all the things, and he was a Christian. He's a godly man, and so he had all the things that were on my top of my list, and that's very important, I think, for couples to do, is write a list of what you have to have in a marriage, and enforce it. With mine, God's first. And so, you have to write those down, because if they, when you get down to number 5, 6, and 7, you can tweak things a little bit. You don't have to have everything perfect, but your main thing, you can't, that's not negotiable.
No.
So many people just get in there and go, well, he makes money, da, da, da. It's like, okay, who is he?
Or you can change him. You can marry him and then change him, or
that doesn't work.
We've had those discussions in 27 years too.
Oh, yeah,
several times. Because she's been married. Now, you don't know this, but yeah, we're gonna tell you. Okay. Debbie's been married twice before.
Okay.
I'm her third marriage. She's my first marriage, but I was married out of wedlock, basically 13 years with another woman.
Right.
But Debbie's and both of her husbands cheated on her. Okay. So that makes the relationship from her mindset to a new marriage. We had this conversation this morning. About
good
topic, and so it's for me, guys guys and men, and we can forget things or let things go, or or bury them, or whatever we do, easier than women in some cases. So it's traumatic. That to me, it would be traumatic that somebody cheated on them, and then we have to let that go and move on, because if you don't, you're going to keep that in your new marriage, and that's going to affect the new marriage, which it has. And we discuss it and we work through it. That's the part of the working part that you talked about. You said, hey, is it work? And yeah, it is work.
Yeah.
Our marriage isn't happy 100% of the times, by no means.
But you talk things through.
Yeah.
You don't leave the elephant on the table. You actually go to that and.
Well, I leave it on the table for a little bit until I can. And then he knows, he goes, why don't you just, whatever's bothering you, bring it up. And I'm not ready, because I don't want to, after you say something, it's out there.
Right.
So I don't say things in anger and stuff like that. I try to, my best ability, I try to make sure whatever I say isn't hurtful directly at them. So I have to make sure it's about.
I don't know about all that.
This is how I feel because of that. That doesn't mean that what really happened or anything. So, and that's just luggage that I brought into the marriage. So,
do you find that the other two marriages actually have helped you speak up more about talking and asking for what you want, or you always did?
No. It wasn't. Well, maybe the marriages, I don't know. I just, what happened after the second marriage was I said, okay, that's it. It has to be me, because I'm the denominator in both the marriages and other relationships. So I had to work on me. And so what I did is I just took time, and I got in the Word. I got around women that had good marriages, and I talked to them and stuff. And so, if you really want something, it takes work. And so I said, this is it. I can't do this anymore. And I was like, what, 40 or something by then?
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, I can't do this anymore. So, and so, I got Joyce Myers is a person that I follow. I don't know if you know who she is, but she's been through the ringer herself. And so I don't want to talk to anybody that hasn't been where I've been. And so they can't give me advice about something they don't know.
Right.
And I just and that's why I made the list. about the top things that a
Yeah.
new husband would have to have. I've never done that. I just went, oh, he's good looking and he has great,
Sex.
yeah, and all that.
All I can.
And he goes to work every day. Okay, this is good.
Good. Check it off. Yeah.
Check, check, check. So, when you get really serious about something and you do it and you have, and it's not, your priorities are much higher about things. So, yeah, the two marrieds, I guess they helped. I really didn't want to go through that, but I guess you have to go through that to get to the other side.
Yeah, it did. And it got you to think deeper.
Oh, yeah.
And really connect to Deb. What does Deb want here? What do I need?
Right.
Or what was I doing that wasn't working?
Yeah.
So she said she's the common denominator.
Yeah.
So she'll tell you that she pretty much controlled those marriages, right?
Well, that's what.
She married weaker men, or? Yeah.
Well, what happened, my mom is a very strong person. And so I took that on in my marriages. So, I was like, okay, I'll handle the money. I'll do this, I'll do that. And like, they didn't have to make any decisions. And so I had to, and so that's not good for a man because that kind of demeans them. And so when I found that out through hanging out with all these other women that had good marriages, I mean, you have to lift your husband up and stuff like that. You don't, tell them that they need to do this and they need to do that. And even though with Hunter, I wasn't putting him down when I said, I told him he was smarter than that. I go, you are so friggin' smart. I said, so it was encouraging. If he took it, that was great. If he didn't,
That was the hook.
that was fine. But yeah, so I dominated those and they went to women that just told them they were wonderful the way they were. And so, that was a lesson learned for me. It was like, you have to back that down. And just because, I wanted them to be something that they could not be, and they're still not today. So,
Well, that's why you're in this marriage. You moved on.
Oh, yes, thank God.
Yeah. So okay, but let's get on this topic because I think this is a really important topic. And when when you're checking off the list and this sort of thing, and when I say intimacy, I don't just mean sex, because intimacy is a lot of things, as we all know. But how important is intimacy in your marriage and that you feel for a couple? And what do you feel intimacy is?
Well, I think we're pretty intimate. I mean, we still hold hands all the time, and we snuggle when we sleep and when we wake up in the morning. I mean, it's not just
mandatory.
It's just, that's who we are. I mean, we sit there and watch TV and we're massaging each other's feet or hands or whatever the other person needs at the time. I mean, and we have great sex, but everything.
She said no sex, just intimate.
Okay. And so, but both of us are like that. We like to touch. We like all that. So
like to be touched. And like to be touched. And so the intimacy part is something that, men aren't really good at. Most men, I should say. Well, only reason I am is because I've been trained to what the other needs, or, you see, or you look, or you try to see what your partner. I mean, this is your lifelong partner. And if you're going to be with a lifelong partner, then what are the needs? I have needs. She has needs.
Yes.
Right? And the intimacy part of it is like lately is that I need to be home earlier. I can't be working. I can't be married to my job. I have a wife, although I do have office wives here because they've been here 16 years with us, and so they work side by side with me all day long, and Deb's here. I mean, I'm not even, sometimes it's not that I don't talk to her, that, I mean, I might see her or something, but we don't have, conversations. It's all about work. We're here to work. And, sometimes we do share with the office. I mean, the office knows us very well in the relationship and what we're about. And I think that's why they stay, and pays good, in some cases, I think, but just the fact that we're solid and, the intimates is, we bring it to our office even. I mean, intimacy.
Nice.
That's really important, with others as well to an extent. But
Yeah,
But
yeah.
for us, you know, it's very important because once you lose that intimacy, I would think, I don't know, because we haven't lost it. You know, the spark we talk about, you know, the thing that keeps your marriage thriving and, you know, instead of dying, and the things that and then there's sometimes that, you know, if it's not happening, it's brought up that it's not happening. So it's a, hey, you know,
Nice.
or,
Going on.
yeah, what's going on? Is there something going on? So that starts so now that kind of reels it back into, hey, are we okay? You know, which is very important, especially, you know, in today's world. And when we were coming through, I was a different person naturally before I met Debbie, and Debbie's pretty much the same, I think. I don't know, that she was. I mean, she still, you know, likes to have things done her way, and that's great. And
So do you.
and I do. Yeah. So, but it's just, you know,
We all do.
it's a compromise too. It's like, okay, so I mean, you kind of like they say, pick your battles, you know, and
Yeah.
it's not really a battle though. If it's a battle all the time, then it's not worth it. If it's a battle, and we talk about that. If it isn't fun, if it isn't exciting, you know, the marriage is not just like you said earlier. You know, there is an alternative to bad marriages, which is a divorce. So what makes a bad marriage? Well, loss of intimacy, loss of communication,
Right.
loss of fulfilling the needs of your loved one. You know, and you know, so like I play golf every Sunday. You know, when I can. I mean, that's my day. I go play golf with the guys every Sunday that I'm in town, and then if I'm not in town, we go play golf because she plays golf too. Matter of fact, that's something she learned from Joyce Myers, because there was a point in time where in our relationship, Debbie was feeling kind of unloved or unintimate because I was doing all these things or playing golf on the weekends and all that.
Yeah.
So she heard from Joyce Myers, if you're not spending enough time with your husband, maybe you need to learn what your husband does and do that. So the golfing, Debbie didn't golf. She was married to a couple of golfers before me. That was a scary thing. We didn't talk about that, but
That's right.
yeah. So
you love it, Deb.
We have a long story.
Yeah.
But do you love it for you anyway? For yourself?
Yeah.
No,
Debbie,
I'm glad he goes to play golf on Sundays. I go to church. I take his mom lives with us. We've had my mom who had Alzheimer's live with us, and his mom. My mom has gone to heaven. Be 3 years this October. But his mom's still with us. And so I take his mom to church on Sundays, which is great. And then I just have Sunday to do whatever I want to do. And
Nice.
So I kind of like, yeah, you want to go play golf? Go.
Oh,
So, because we're together 24/7.
I know.
He has a whole week that he goes with the guys to play golf, and that's great because I catch up on a lot of stuff. And so, yeah, it's all, and you have to let them, not just the men, but me too. I'll go see my sister where she's living for a week and stuff. So
your girlfriends.
Or my girlfriend. And so, you know, you gotta be okay with that too, that they have to go out and have fun and let loose with the guys and guy talk. I mean, they talk trash and all that stuff. So let them go do that.
Well, yes, and I think that's an excellent point, but that you led me right into this, and this is why I wanted to do this interview, because when I met Hunter, we met at Fred Fishback's in Florida at the weekend coaching session for
Mr. Fox.
With JT Fox, that organized it, and Eric Simmons, and then Fred Fishback. And when I was there, you weren't there. So I'm meeting this guy, and he spoke highly of you. He spoke highly of your marriage and highly of you. And that was very impactful for me, because I'm on my own. I'm a single woman, and I'm talking to lots of different people. There are couples, people on their own, whoever was there. But when you say, guys talking trash and this kind of thing, guys have their own lingo. But when you can talk to someone, a guy on their own like that, and who will uplift his wife and speak highly of his wife and speak highly of his marriage, that was very, very powerful. And that's one of the main things why I want to interview today and get this here live, because guys have got to step up to the plate and be like that. And you were.
So do women. So do women.
Yeah, and in that aspect, if you're not that way without your wife, you know, if you're not that way without your wife, you know, I never that I can remember. I mean, I've got a good friend that I consult in who's been in divorce, who's gone through a divorce, who wrote a book. I won't tell you about it, but he wrote a book about his divorce. It's pretty crude, and but it's his feelings. It's what he was married 25 years, the best woman in his life. He's still, you know, he's dating. We just found out today he's dating a girl that kind of looks like her and has the same name as her. And that's like, wow. You know, so that was a little weird. But so you know, if you're out there and you're by yourself, and if you know, I mean, Debbie always says, "Hey, you're good looking. People are going to hit on you and all this." I said, "Debbie, I rarely get hit on. I mean, hit on."
That's
She goes,
so
"You
hard
must
to
be."
believe.
She goes, "You must be naive." And I say, you know,
I didn't see anyone hitting on him that weekend.
yeah.
I don't know
so,
what. Well, I'm glad
I mean,
they don't.
I
But
met a few people there, and for me, you know, the guys that I run into, and it's me, maybe, I don't know, it's a guy thing for me, but if I don't know guys, I try to get to know them. I mean, I know Polly and I become great friends, and that's the kind of people I surround myself with.
yes.
Right.
Polly's got a great marriage. You know, I see Polly out all the time without his wife. You know, I say, "Hey, Polly, how do you do that? You know, you're gone all the time." And Debbie's been to Mega Success. You know, we went to Hawaii, and then we went to Mega Success, you know. And but that's not her cup of tea. The where you met me is not Debbie's cup of tea.
No, that's what you said.
Yeah, and it's mine because I know, you know, she's the one that got me into this. So, you know, the real estate and all this learning and all that. So I try to stay on the cutting edge of everything that's happening, so I can keep our marriages. You know, that's my job. I feel it's my job as a man, you know, to provide. And you know, in this world day and age, you know, you got women's lib and all that. Debbie provides, you know, as much as I do with what she does. Is, you know, we had to move a lot of money around, and when we first started, we didn't have a lot of money, but you know, we had big ideas and big ambitions, and sometimes those ambitions ran us out of money. So, you know, we just had a conversation the other day about something, and I said, "Debbie, have I ever steered us wrong?" And the answer was no. You know, it was scary, you know, at times. Have we done some bad deals? Yeah. Have we lost money? Yes, we have. Yeah. You know, in real estate, if you haven't, you're not doing enough of it. You're lying. Or you're lying about it. So is our business perfect? No. Is our marriage perfect? No. But it's always a work in progress, and that's what we love about life. And that's where you have to look at things. If I looked at every negative thing or everything I disliked about Debbie, you know, I could probably rack up, you know, but it's stuff that's unimportant. It's not important to the relationship. You know, it's not something, it's like the little stuff. And sometimes, you know, there's little things that bother me, like when I go to the bathroom and there's no toilet paper on the damn, or I take the toilet paper, I'm the last one. I said, I changed toilet paper in my house more than I've ever have. It's like, what am I? You know, so
seriously,
yeah. So just something like that, you know, that small. So now I got over that. Okay, I know I'm changing toilet paper no matter what.
Oh my God.
She didn't even know it. I've bitched about it before.
One other time in 27 years, but oh my God, really?
Yeah. But, I mean, I'm just using that as a prop, as a thing, you know. And, you know, yes, and I live with my mom. So I'm the only guy that lives in a house with 3 women. We have a caregiver, my mom and Debbie. And then at office, I have 3 women here and a couple guys. So I'm surrounded by, what do you call it?
Women.
Whatever that women stuff is.
Oh, estrogen.
Estrogen. All day long. Yeah. But anyway,
Hunter adapts to any situation. I don't care if we're in Haiti feeding the poor, or he's with the millionaires or billionaires, whatever you guys were with, wherever you were. He adapts. He's very good at that. Me, I'm not. I've been to all those places, done that, been there. I just don't need to do that now. Different stage of my life, and so he still, you know, loves all that stuff. Me, not so much.
I love meeting new people. Debbie loves meeting new people. I mean, we met you at JT's, and I didn't know this would happen. And
No.
I didn't pay you to say all that good stuff about her, right? You know.
We women stick together. We notice stuff. So
Yeah.
that's all. Well, you know what? I just loved having you here today, and you're a fun couple. And you said you're from Longwood, Florida. So you said near Orlando, not too far from Orlando. Is that right?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, not too far from Orlando. And yeah, I just loved having you today. And you've brought a lot of really neat different aspects to this for so many couples to learn from this, about your communication, talking about things, the intimacy, giving each other that space to do what you want to do in the marriage, letting each other go and explore those different things that each of you love, giving each other that space and enjoying each other. And I think those are just like fabulous things that make a really great marriage. And you've been through marriages before, you've had relationships. You guys have a lot of stuff that was going on before you met each other. Oh, yeah. And figuring it out and having fun with your life, and then to have a business together as well. Like you said, that's not so easy, but you've been able to do that and have your marriage and help each other out.
It wasn't without counseling, though. I can tell you that. When we've had some counseling. I mean, no doubt. I mean, we've had some coaches, you know, that we had some stuff that we just couldn't get through. Not that the D word was even announced, which has never really happened. And basically, you know, we've had some other coaches, Richard Flint, which I'd love to introduce you to. And then we've had some, what's it called? There's another thing that travels around and does when we went that.
Oh, what was
Landmark. It's called Landmark.
Oh, Landmark. That was a big breakthrough, yeah.
Yeah, we did a thing at Landmark, and it was the communication class of Landmark with couples, and we had some big breakthroughs there. And there again, we were the freaking star of Landmark. Yeah, I mean, there's 100 people in the room. There's 100 people, but they're not talking about their stuff. And the thing is that if you keep it in the dark, it's going to stay in the dark. Until you get into the light, it's not gonna get exposed and taken care of. And
talk about it.
That's right. Yeah, put it out there.
I had no idea I was going to fall apart like I did at the Landmark in front of all those people. But finally, by us doing that and being so real, other people finally came up. But
good for you.
You know, but it was just like, I was watching, everybody's like, okay, is anybody going to get up? And it's like, okay, I'm going. So, you know, because there was something, I forget what it was going on.
I know exactly what it was.
It was your
tonality.
And
my tonality to her, my voice levels when we would have a conversation, if I was didn't want to be bothered with something, or if I didn't want to explain it again, or if I didn't want to talk about it, or, you know, basically it was showing disrespect.
That's how I felt. And so it was very powerful. And when Hunter and I get like that, I mean, we're not, you know, we don't want a divorce. We've already been through all this, and we're it's like, who the hell wants to start over now? And so it's just, we'll go find somebody. I mean, it might usually it's just like one session. And it's just like, when we go to somebody that is going to tell us the truth, not like sugar coated or anything like that.
No.
And so Marshall Silver, he got us through. There was like 4 things we had written down, and he just bam, bam, bam. We got through them, took his advice. So, you know, we're not going to act like nothing's wrong.
You're not afraid to get help. No. So there's another fantastic thing. So whoever's going to be listening to this is go get help. Not be afraid to
get help from.
Yeah, be careful who you get help from.
Right.
True enough.
A lot of bad things too. So make sure it's somebody that you've done background and made sure they're who they are.
Right. But having that courage to do that for each other. Okay, well, let's wind up. But yeah, if anybody here wants to get a hold of Hunter and Deb and figure out all your real estate and foreclosures and All of those.
Honey.
You guys, yeah, you guys are down in Florida. You can contact me. I'll give you their information. And if you want to get on this show and talk about your marriage, it can help each other out. I'm not just here about divorce. We're talking about saving your marriage as well. All right. Well, see you later. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank
Enjoyed
you.
it. Adios.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
What a pleasure.